Good morning, everyone. This is Michele Hughes. Well, today we have a wonderful guest, and I say this every single time we have a podcast, so I don't want Dr. Anton, who's our guest today, to think he's not anyone but very, very special. But I've been reading about Dr. Anton for probably a year now, and I reached out to him because I am a big believer in what he does, which is food is your medicine. And I think anyone who is following Ageless and Timeless over the last 5 years, knows that this is a big theme for us, and that to have someone who's at the top of the pyramid and has worked on this area for his entire professional life, and has now capitalized on that food is your medicine by having two companies actually that we're going to talk about today that actually reach out to the consumer and practitioners for using what he preaches as a protocol in their practice and in your life if it's you as a consumer. Is that a good way to categorize? Okay, so let's talk about you, Dr. Anton, and welcome, by the way, to Ageless and Timeless.
Thank you, Michelle, and hopefully we're going to change somebody's life today.
I think we're going to change a lot of lives, and I'm very optimistic about the way people listen and view our podcast and then apply to their lives. And I've had so much feedback from people about how just information is power. So with that, information is power. You have so much information to share, so I don't want to take away from you, but I would like you to just tell a little bit about yourself to our viewers, because everybody wants to know, who are you and what has inspired you to go on this path and this journey to where you are today. So if you could just spend a couple minutes and give us a little background, we'd appreciate it.
For sure. I wanted to be a doctor and help patients, cure the big four killers: diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, and cardiovascular disease. And so I went to medicine first, did my PhD as well, went to top schools, Harvard's and Hopkins, and then hit a wall whereby I found myself practicing sick care, just seeing people after they're sick, and I felt that I'm just giving them medicines that they have to take for the rest of their lives. There was no medicine that I was giving that they can stop after 6 months or a year to reverse diabetes, to reverse Alzheimer's, to reverse cancer. So I felt that there should be a better way. And so I left medicine and then was looking for how can we keep people healthier in a preventative way. And then if they're sick, how can we help them reach cure and remission, not just give them multi-pills for the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. And after 20 years of practicing and then joining a few biotech industries to learn how to discover new technologies and bring them to market, I got to realize two things that changed my life. Number one is that aging is the mother of really the diseases, the four big killers, as I mentioned: Alzheimer's, diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular. They all come with aging. You don't die of a heart attack at age 20. You're not going to get Alzheimer's at age 22, even if you have the ApoE gene. So aging is the mother of all diseases. And if you help the body biologically be younger than your chronological age. So if you're 65, but you're actually 55 from the inside, the age of the cells and the genes and the metabolism is younger, this is the best way to prevent and to give people a healthy longevity, to give them an extra 10, 20 years of healthy lives. The number two aha moment that changed my life was that it's simple, but we never think about it this way. It's like food is the only product we consume every day of our lives, 3 to 5 times per day. And guess what? You always comply to it. Nobody doesn't comply to food. We all eat at the end of the day. So why not transform? Why not put the right science? That's the key word, because there's a lot of businesses taking advantage of food, and this is why we're sick today, is how can we put ethical science behind nutrition and transform our food into the best tool for longevity and the best tool for medicine, turning food as medicine and turning food as an asset for longevity. So today I'm a CEO and chairman of probably the leading company in this field. It's called L-Nutra, L for longevity dash Nutra, meaning longevity through nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
All we do is we do ethical, high-level, evidence-based medicine and science behind nutrition, studying food formulations that can help humans live long, and studying food formulations that we can help patients reach remission, not just keep them on drugs for the rest of their lives.
And then you also have Prolon, which,
Yes.
so why don't you tell us about Prolon as well?
So probably Prolon is maybe our biggest discovery. As I mentioned, talking about longevity, we were looking at what can help the cells in the body stay younger than your age, right? This is the goal. If you think about it, if aging is the mother of most chronic disease that are killing us, how can we keep your biological age younger? So how can we keep the age of the cells and the metabolism younger? We started studying food formulations, but also we started studying fasting. And what we discovered is that if you go on a 4 to 5 days of fasting, the stress is so heavy on the cells that they rejuvenate to be in a better shape, to be in an optimal performance level as a protectionist mechanism for survival. So the body, when they fast for a day or two, has enough fat, enough reserve to use to break down to compensate for the first 2 days of fasting. But when you cross day 3 and day 4 and day 5, the body tells the cells, hey, I don't have any reserve. You got to rejuvenate. You got to fix everything going wrong to survive. One comparison here to better understand this is if you run a company and suddenly you don't have revenues, it's like a body with no food, fasting. And what you're going to do is first you're going to use your bank account to compensate for the deficit. That's fasting. Day 1, day 2, the body goes to fat, to glycogen, all the reserves, and try to use those. But when you deplete the bank account, you're going to restructure the company. You're going to come to your employees and say, hey, we're going to fix everything going wrong. We're going to stop unnecessary expenditure. We're going to do better sales, better marketing, better, better, better. And that restructuring happens within the cells of the body after 3 days of fasting. We call that process autophagy, self-eat, self-rejuvenate. And it won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2016. Very, very well-validated scientific phenomenon. Most people thought it would happen if you skip breakfast in the early intermittent fasting stage. It does not happen then. You got to go 2 days and more and longer, actually, after the third day for rejuvenation of the cells to happen because you need a deeper stress. So when we observe that.
Oh, sorry, one quick question. What about sarcopenia, though? If you're doing that kind of extended fasting, are you not also wasting muscle and losing muscle, I should say?
With water fasting, yes, and that's the story why Prolon and why we came up and we do it now with fast with food. So you're right, the water fast helps the cells rejuvenate, but you're cutting, you're using reserves. So you use muscle and you use fat, so you lose muscle mass at the same time. This is what's happening today, even with the Ozempics and the GLP-1. You lose fat, but you lose muscle.
Correct.
So, but there's a lot of benefits, right? This is why the Ozempics and GLP-1, they're showing a lot of benefits metabolically, but you lose muscle, and now they're showing you lose bone density, right? The body, when you're fasting, goes to bone, goes to muscle, goes to fat, tries to bring all the reserves. So we decided that there's a better way, and we invested over $48 million. A lot of it also is grants into developing what we call a fasting mimicking nutrition. How can we, and this is what we call Prolon for promoting longevity, the product's called Prolon. And so can we develop a food formulation that mimics the benefits of fasting, but is nourishing the body? So the muscle is protected, bones are protected, the body is rejuvenating the cells, the body is going biologically younger without paying the price of fasting. And it took us a good 13 years. We engaged 18 other universities with us: Stanford, USC, UCLA, Mayo Clinic, University of Indiana, University of Heidelberg, University of Charité, University of Genoa. So I'm forgetting 7, 8 of them. But we put 17 universities plus us together and doing randomized clinical trials, human trials, on Prolon, on the fasting mimicking diet, to show that it gives you the benefits of fasting, but actually it's protecting the downside of water fast. And now, for the first time in history, allowing humans to fast with food. This is why it's called the fasting mimicking diet. And it was awarded over 134 patents till now. And we just started our 40th clinical trial, and it's showing amazing health and longevity benefits.
Today's podcast is brought to you by International Anti-Aging Systems and Profound Health. The founder, Phil Mickens, has been a guest on Ageless and Timeless, and those who know him personally, as I am so fortunate to do, can attest to his knowledge, experience, authenticity, and his passion to help make the world a better place, with a commitment to work profoundly to improve our health. I personally have used the peptide bioregulators, some of his hormones, and his skincare products, and I can attest to their efficacy. If you want those unique and value-added evidence-based health products, then IAS and Profound Health are your number one resource. We're going to flash on the screen the different websites that you can use in order to order their products. And no matter which website you go to and which products you order, please use the Ageless code for a 15% discount. So this is really important to everybody to understand that this is not just some fly-by-night company that's telling you to eat their diet and you're gonna have a benefits. This is a really science-based program, both L-Nutra for the science and the technology side, and Prolon for the product and the actual consumer and practitioner use side, right? So you combine both, and you then have gone to the university. So how are they using today, after all these 13 years, how are they using your products and your research?
Yeah. So we categorize people into two. There's a set of folks that are, say 45 to 70-year-old. They're feeling the aging process, a woman going through menopause, a man starting losing his muscle and his energy, and having a resistant belly fat. And they're not sick yet, but they're feeling aging, and they're worried because their moms and dads are dying. They have chronic diseases, and they're like, hey, I need to do something for my body. And if you're not sick, you can do the fasting mimicking diet. You just want to lose a little bit of weight. You want to improve your metabolic markers, cholesterol, triglyceride, blood pressure, etc. And you want to rejuvenate your cells. So in this case, you do Prolon 3 times per year. 5 days only, first trimester, 5 days second trimester, 5 days 3 trimesters. Very simple. All what we're asking is 15 days to consume Prolon, the fasting mimicking diet, per year. And men or women, and again, especially that age of 40 to 70 or 45 to 70, you're pre-disease, you're pre-health condition, but you started losing a little bit of muscle, you're starting feeling the cholesterol going up, you're starting feeling the blood pressure, you're not getting rid easily of your belly fat and the resistant fat. So this is where you can do Prolon 3 times per year. Now, the more you
decide on 3 times a year, where did that research come from?
That research we tested 3 times in few universities, especially the first trial with USC. And then we started measuring the impact of 3 cycles on bioage. So there's one way that Yale developed to measure the age of the body. It's called the phenotypic bioage. And we put the data of Prolon within the bioage, and it's showing that if you do it 3 times per year, on year 1, you're reversing your bioage score by 2.5 biological years. And if you do it between age 50 and 70, so if every year, just 15 days, we're saying 3 times per year equal 15 days out of 365 days. If you do it 3 times per year between age 50 and 70, you're reversing your bioage score by 11 years. This is very, very important. And as we mentioned, bioage is the most important factor for health and longevity.
And who do you use True Diagnostics to do the bioage, or do you have your own lab?
Yeah, it's one of the tests that they use, but we went directly to the source, which is Yale. Yale discovered that.
Yes, right.
And we just published it 4 months ago in Nature. As you know, Nature is the #1 science journal of the world.
Right.
Nature published the article, and you can Google, everyone listening to us, you can Google fasting mimicking diet and bioage score, and you read the article in Nature showing 2.5 biological age reversal if you do 3 times in a year, and then up to 11 years if you do it for 20 years between age 50 and 70.
But Dr. Anton, if someone did this every year for 10 years, does that mean, and they're between 50 and 75, is it going to continue to reduce their bio age by 11 years or thereabouts every year?
So this is what we said. It's 2.5 year one, but if you
Yeah.
do over 20 years, because the benefits decrease, so you get 11 years total for the 20 years.
Oh, I see. I misunderstood you. Okay, I thought it was that
Yes.
at that age you're going to get a big bump of 11 years. I did
First,
a
like,
diagnostic test and not had known about you or hadn't used Prolon, but just by being disciplined and knowing enough to be dangerous, um, my biological age was almost 20 years younger than my chronological age. So that was a really big plus for me, and I'm going to do it again. They say do it maybe once every year or two, and but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't be a good idea to still do the fasting mimicking, because there's always 5 pounds you want to lose, or you want your cells to perform better, or you're feeling a little stressed, and this is going to help your fatigue.
well, the most important thing that we talk about is rejuvenating the cells, the autophagy, right?
Yeah.
There's no product today ever discovered or proven or tested in humans to rejuvenate autophagy as much as few days of fasting. This is big. There's a lot of supplements, there's a lot of, and there's a lot of methods to slow down aging, stress less, eat better, exercise, social capital, etc. But rejuvenating the cells through autophagy is only demonstrated, and we did this with the University of San Antonio, and Cedars-Sinai in LA. These two university centers, they tested Prolon and autophagy, and it's showing a huge spike in cellular rejuvenation after day 3. This is the most important reason. It's not the 5 pounds. It's not, which everyone loves. Don't get me wrong. Most people come for the 5. You lose 5 to 8 pounds in 5 days on Prolon. So a lot of people love that. And it's fat preferential. It's not muscle. So you protect the muscle at the same time. There's nothing that does that in 5 days. So a lot of people love that, the skin rejuvenation, all of it. But rejuvenating cells is critical at that age.
So why don't you just take a moment and define autophagy for our viewers, because a lot of people have heard it before on my podcast, but again, maybe some have not, and I would like them to know what exactly you're defining.
Yeah, autophagy is a cellular rejuvenation response to stress. Our body, and this is in animals, even when you test it on fleas, and every creature has a defense mechanism against stress. And we see fasting response the same across all creatures because it's existential. Everybody, whether you're a mouse, whether you're a dog, or you're a human, we all need food to survive. So when we studied fasting all the way from small animals to humans, the response after several days of fasting was the same. It's existential. And the body goes to the reserves first, the first day or two. The body says, okay, I set aside some fat as reserve, some glycogen as reserve. When you deplete those reserves after a couple of days of fasting in humans, then the body tells the cells, I'm sorry, I cannot nourish you any longer. You got to look into reserves within the cell, go find debris, organelles that you can use, and start fixing things going wrong because you got to survive. Something, and this is the autophagy, self-eat. Autoselfphagy is eat. So the cell is eating the organelles, is detoxing, is fixing, is rejuvenating. The other things that can induce this in a shallow way is intensive exercise training, right? This is why a lot of the longevity trainers, they ask you to do 2 or 3 times per week and a stressful exercise to kind of push a little bit, especially the heart vessels, to rejuvenate and open new routes. It's a positive reaction to stress, and it's called autophagy. It won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2016. The big mistake is that a lot of, I don't want to call them names, but a lot of marketers try to say that, oh, if you do intermittent fasting, you skip breakfast, you get autophagy. So 7% of Americans today practice certain type of intermittent fasting, and a lot of them, they think that if I skip breakfast, I'm rejuvenating my cells by 2 p.m. And that doesn't happen because you have plenty of fat, plenty of glycogen, and other reserves to tap into. It only happens around day 3 and onwards, which is exactly what we tested on Prolong.
And isn't what rapamycin trying to say that it will induce autophagy faster because of the effects of the rapamycin? And how do you feel about that?
These are all fractional, very minor signal. There's rapamycin, there's rapalogs, what we call them. There's other molecules being tested in Austria, actually, and now brought into the US, like spermidine. And they do a very shallow signals of autophagy, but they don't get the body to read. This is why and hey, it's through your podcast, I'm asking all these supplements to go and test autophagy in humans and show us the results, because we've never seen that. Only Prolon has shown cellular rejuvenation. They don't dare to put their products into testing in humans, and we do it with universities, so it's independent of us. University of San Antonio and Cedars-Sinai Hospital in LA are those who led the testing. So, for a cell to do autophagy, the cell should feel that it's deprived. And so rapamycin works on one of the receptors, but it does not trigger the others. There's PKA, RAS, and TOR pathways. So if you shut down one and metformin the other, and or spermidine, they're fractional signals towards autophagy, but they don't get you into full-fledged cellular rejuvenation.
Mm-hmm. So I asked a moment ago about the university. So are any of these, like the Longevity Center at UCLA, are they actually using Prolon and with their patients?
So we just crossed 15,300 healthcare practitioner registered with
wow,
15,300, I think 40 something. I don't remember the exact number.
They come to you mostly, or do you have an actual distribution channel?
Both. We have an education team and what we call a medical science liaison team. We have a sales rep team. We go to events, big aging and longevity events. Now we started going to mainstream healthcare events, diabetes. So we're showing that if you do the fasting mimicking diet, he had asked me how many times to do it per year. We're explaining 3 times for relatively healthy people. But if you have diabetes or prediabetes, you do it 4 to 6 times. And it's showing that it's helping patients drop their diabetic medications. On average, 1 medicine every 6 months you drop. And the patients are reaching what we call remission, meaning they don't need medication any longer. So we started going to endocrinology events and starting having endocrinologists and family practitioners registered with us, etc. So thousands and thousands of doctors are registered to prescribe Prolon with us.
But if a consumer wants to participate, do they have to go to a practitioner to be a part of your program?
A consumer who's relatively healthy can go and buy it directly on the prolonlife.com website. If you have a health condition, we definitely ask you to talk to your doctor and go through the doctor. We do have a doctor prescription platform for doctors who register with us. Then they send their patients directly under us to the platform, and the doctor can track them then and supervise them.
So let's go deep dive into the actual Prolon. I wanted everybody to know that I came back from RadFest, and by the way, I tried to find you. I saw your booth, but nobody was there at that particular time. Unlike at A4M last December, where your booth was just buzzing with activity and people. So I don't know. I would look for you.
Unfortunately, the one person who's leading the booth had COVID the night before, so we had to cancel the team to go there and be at the booth just to protect the employees. But as you mentioned, typically we have one of the biggest booth and longest lines around it. But we had the COVID diagnosis the night off, so we had to call it off.
I get it. Okay, well, that's why I was kind of curious. I was going to send you a text and say, "Hey, where are you?" I kept walking by every day, and there would be there, but your sign was up and the booth was there. But at 8:4 a.m., just to let everybody know, this was last December. I was walking. Well, first of all, you're right in the front of the show, so you get like central casting. And are you one of the big sponsors of A4M? Is that why you have such a great? You're right next to Microbiome Labs and Quicksilver and who else? So some of the big ones were there. But you were right in front. And so as I was walking out, the last day, everybody was, closing down, and I had been walking by you every single day, but I didn't know what you were, so I had never stopped. And then this day I said, I'm going to stop and see. And I met this one wonderful person who works for you. And he said, let me just, show you. And he really educated me. And this was so important because I was starting at square one. And I really, always believed that I could do my own structure, my own program for nutrition, and never realized that there was so much science behind how you combine the ingredients and the amounts and so forth. So anyway, he gave me like the best thing he gave me were those wonderful bars and the shakes. And I came back to my home in Tiburon, California, and started using them. Now, I wasn't doing your scientific 5-day thing, which we'll talk about, but I fell in love with these bars and the shakes. So in fact, I took the shakes on many trips. He gave me like 5 or 6 of them. So they came in so handy because, in the morning when you're rushing to a meeting, and you take one of those, it keeps you full until well after lunchtime. So, and then I would always have a bar in my purse. Now, I know that's not the way you're recommending people do the program, but I'm just letting you know that for someone who didn't know A from B, that was a incredibly welcome nutritional addition. And also, whatever you've done for the ingredients and the recipes, you've created something that really does taste good. And I think this is one of the problems with a lot of these companies that try to present as you have, but not with all the science, that they just don't taste that good. So anyway, just wanted to give you that feedback.
Thank you, appreciate it. It's a very important point, Michele. What you tried is called the fast bar, and it's a meal replacement, so you can eat the bar. Your body doesn't know you're eating, so it's the same system. It's a fasting mimicking bar or the fasting mimicking shake. It's called the fasting bar or the fasting shake. And it's important because you're right. All the dieting companies, they don't taste good, and then people have to make choices between taste and non-taste. And they come to us like, how come your food tastes really good? Because most nutrition companies, they worry about their profits. And to be profitable, you got to use the cheaper ingredients. The tasty ingredients are expensive, the true tasty ingredients, meaning we use macadamia, which tastes amazing. It has the healthy fats, but it's very expensive. The most expensive thing you can buy from nature is macadamia, right?
Right.
It's the most expensive.
Right.
The pecans, almonds, there's a set of ingredients that taste amazing, but it's expensive, and they don't want to use it typically to increase their. So when you eat Prolon, and Prolon is 100% vegan, is plant-based, no chemicals, no additive, gluten-free, lactose-free, soy-free. It takes everything you want to take, clean nutrition. So for those listening to us today, you mimic fasting by eating a very healthy formulation every day for 5 days. It's a big white box. You open it, you get your day 1, your day 2, your day 3, your day 4, and your day 5. Every day has its own breakfast, the breakfast bar, the lunch, the soups and the other food with it, and then dinner, also a soup and other foods with it. You have an afternoon snack, and they taste really, really good. And again, we do spend a lot of money on ingredients. We do source premium ingredients from many places around the world, including longevity zones. And so you're going to eat something very clean, very healthy, and give you the mimicking benefits of fasting.
Well, I really applaud that. And I did want to ask you because when I came home from RadFest, I started to say this. There was this huge box at my front door. I said, wow, this is like Christmas in September. And that was from you. And of course, it had, all the things we just talked about, plus the 5-day program, which I haven't been able to find 5 days where I didn't have a dinner date or something social that I had to be at. So I'm going to have to find those 5 days because I really want to try that. But the question I had is if you can't do the 5-day, or you don't really need to lose weight, or you just love your products, can you just use them in the way that I did when I was kind of ignorant coming out of A4M and just experience?
the 5-day prolon is to rejuvenate your cells, right? So we have other products that you receive, like the fasting bar. Fasting bar is for intermittent fasting. You replace any meal with it, and your body doesn't know you're eating, right? So
Okay.
say you wake up in the morning, you're not a big breakfast person, you take the fasting bar in the morning. Your body doesn't know you ate in the morning, so you're still burning fat from the night, right?
Yeah.
You're losing weight to the night. You're not rejuvenating your cells, but it's a great fasting mimicking one meal replacement.
Yeah.
The longevity protein, this is one of big things that I recommend here people to pay attention to. The L protein, L for longevity dash protein. 20 this product, I'm very passionate about it. It was a partnership between USC and EFOM, a big research center in Italy, that developed it with us. And basically, it gives you 25 grams of proteins. It has 21 minerals and vitamins and extra virgin olive oil, but the formulation does not spike insulin or IGF. So when
Hmm.
you eat this protein, you're not paying the price of accelerating aging, and
Hmm.
that's why it's a longevity protein.
Hmm.
And a few other products that we sent you. We have a longevity spread as well, and I don't know if we sent you the longevity pill and the longevity microbiome.
You did not, but you did send me that jar of, I guess that must be the longevity spread. It has like a
Yes,
chocolate, a little,
yes.
oh, it's
This
incredible.
is
But that you can just have that right out of the jar as a dessert. Uh,
Well, this is the going back to why healthy is tasty, right? So chocolates today, for everyone here that buys a Nutella or a peanut butter or whatever, spread you have, they're mainly, like say Nutella, and mainly sugar and
Correct.
cocoa and cocoa butter and just a little bit of. They show you the picture of the hazelnuts. It's a little bit of nuts because that's the expensive part, and a
Hmm.
lot of it is sugar and butter. And the L spread, the L dash spread, our product is the complete opposite. It's 74% almonds, and
Hmm.
these almonds are from the Longevity Mountains, the Apulian Mountains in Italy.
Hmm.
There's a high concentration of centenarians that live in the Apulian Mountains in
Hmm.
Italy. So we source it there and we produce it in Italy. And it's mainly almonds with a little bit of cocoa and super, super tiny couple of grams of sugar added to this. That's
Hmm.
it. So it's the opposite of any spread you eat. And it's tastier. You're like, how come this tastes amazing? Because the healthy fats in the almonds taste amazing. There's no butter in it. There's no additive in it. It's very healthy. So for whomever listening to us, especially give it to your kids because the healthy fats in the almonds are like brain-like fat. Brain is a fat organ. The entire brain is a fat organ, but it's a good fat organ. And the brain loves those mid-chain fatty acids. So instead of feeding your kids sugar and carbs and a cheap product, it's L spread for you and for your kids. Could be very helpful.
So then I think what you're answering here is very helpful because you're really saying that, yes, you can do the 5 day, 3 times a year. In between, all the
Yes,
other products are part
yes.
of your arsenal that you should be stocked up on, and make sure you keep them in as part of your regular routine. And hopefully over time you'll learn, if you haven't already, how important those are to replace some of the bad stuff that you've been buying at the
That's it.
grocery store.
It's clean ingredients, longevity formulation,
Hmm.
and plant-based.
Oh,
We're trying to replace your pantry with healthy longevity products. And
right.
we don't want people to keep going and blindly buying from grocery stores, whatever. And they're cheating us every day, right? Oh, this is non-gluten, gluten-free, etc. But then behind the scenes, there's this chemical and this additive and this. And
Right.
our nutrition is clean, is plant-based, and is a longevity formulation.
Okay, so let's just say hypothetically that I'm the customer that wants, just like our viewers are today, that want to now participate in your program, but not to do the 5 day right away. Maybe they don't feel they need it, but they just want to be part of the program to get the products that you've just described. So, how do you guide them to go, and do they go to prolon.com and then just look at all your products and then just order a la carte, or is there a bundle that you can buy, like what you sent to me, including the shakes, which I didn't get the shakes this time on your Christmas present, but if I'm gonna when I come to reorder, that's important because those shakes really are amazing, and it saves you having to, put all your own products in, which I usually do in my smoothies. But this way, and it's so important for travel. So, is there a bundle that people can buy that includes all those wonderful products that you offer?
Today, you go to the website, it's called prolonlife.com, prolonlife.com. You can
Okay,
buy the Prolon 5 days, or you can buy any of the other products. There,
right.
there are some bundles, but we're reshaping the website soon to give you a longevity bundle, what we call.
Oh,
So you can do the 5 days, or you can do the longevity everyday bundle that you
good.
can get those products together. And then we're adding a third service, which is a supervised longevity dietitian to
Oh,
come
good.
in and support you doing the program in a guided way. We partnered with University of Southern California. They have the only longevity dietitian program. They graduate dietitians just focus solely on food for longevity,
Mm-hmm.
and food is
What
medicine.
did that cost, Dr. Anton?
It's a $50 service. Again, we're launching it soon, the supervision with a dietitian. It's a $50 service. The longevity products are all the way from $33 to $69, the longevity shake. And Prolon itself, the 5 day, is $179 product, which is equal to the price of food that the US citizen on average spend on 5 days of food. So for those going to buy Prolon, a lot of people are like, well, it's 175 or up to 190, and this is exactly what an average US citizen would spend on food, water, food, drinks, and supplements. All of
Mhm.
those are included in the box. We didn't talk that we give you the supplements you need, and we give you the drinks that you need. So it's a cash neutral. You don't have to cook. The same
Yep,
thing you mentioned, it is well structured, gives you the food, and you don't
right.
have to think about anything else when it comes to nutrition.
So I was looking at the brochure and I see that there's some wonderful soup. So how did you decide on which ingredients or which soups and how to combine them, day one to day five? What is that scientifically based, all your guidelines there as far as what the
Yeah.
ingredients are? Can
Yeah, I
you?
was about to say it wasn't a decision. It's 12 years, right? We spent $48 million in developing and researching Prolon. 48 million. It took us 13 years.
Wow.
And so many PhDs involved, a lot of food PhDs, led by Dr. Walter Longo. I don't know if you know our founder, Dr. Walter Longo. If you ask ChatGPT, who's the number one longevity nutritionist in the world, and it comes with Walter Longo. He's behind the longevity diet book.
Yeah. Oh,
A
good.
lot,
Glad
a
you have.
lot of people have read the longevity diet book.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Amazon bestseller, millions of copies sold. I definitely recommend people read this book. It will tell you what to eat for enhancing your healthy longevity, and
Mm-hmm.
what you eat if you have diabetes, if you have cancer, if you have health conditions. So definitely big recommendation to read the book. So he has
Mm-hmm.
a big team of PhDs at University of Southern California, at the Longevity Institute at USC. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the team with our scientists and with 17 other universities together, studying and restudying and ingredients and formulation and taste and medical results and clinical trials. And we start with mice and we go all the way to human every time to prove the concept.
Mm-hmm. So, how did you and Dr. Walter Longo get together?
It was after my aha moment. If you remember, I said learning that aging is the mother of all diseases. I
Mm-hmm.
started touring around the world, all the longevity labs, Singapore at the National University, Boston with David Sinclair, Europe, Somologic in Arizona, and I went to the Buck Institute for Research on Aging in San Francisco, and then everyone was saying, the leading and most probably successful product that could be in longevity was the fasting mimicking diet by Walter Longo. So I asked them to introduce me to Walter, and I met with him by the Buck Institute in Marin County in San Francisco. The CEO of the Buck Institute for Research on Aging introduced me to him, and we just clicked right away.
So you know how we talked about when on our first call how important the Buck Institute is, and I
Yeah,
live only 20 minutes away from Nevada, where it's located. It's really made Marin County a center for longevity.
longevity. Yes.
and the people that come in here now, to the Buck and part of the Buck, amazing. And I had Eric Verdon on my podcast, and yesterday I was speaking with Dr. Gail Bredesen, and he's coming
Yes.
on soon, and then you and let's see, there was one more person that was there. I think I told you I was on their first board at the Buck 25 years ago, when they first launched. It was nothing like what it is today. It was far more allopathic, much the functional medicine emphasis there. Oh, I know who the other one was. Is Lee Hood.
Yes.
He's coming on next week. So those people have, including yourself, and you mentioned that your family has a building there at the Buck.
Yeah, we used to be donors. I used to be an adjunct professor there, and we donated, I think, over 3 to 4 years to the Buck Institute back in 2015 to 17, if I remember well, or to 18, or maybe 13 to 16.
Was
17.
that after the IMPay building was completed?
Yes.
Okay.
It was actually getting completed.
Getting completed. Okay. Yeah. When I was there was just a little, office building up on the hill in Novato, looking out over the Marin County airport. I think it was the airport. But anyway, it's certainly changed since then, and it's become a mecca for longevity research. What do they say? Live longer, better.
Yes.
Motto now. Yeah.
Yes.
But okay, so back to what I want people to understand is that there is a way to go to Prolon if you're not going through a practitioner, if you have no health issues, which many of our viewers are muscle and fitness viewers because we're distributed on their platform. So we have a lot of athletes and a lot of people who want to maximize their exercise performance and their muscle enhancement without having to take a bunch of, human growth hormone and testosterone, all those drugs.
Very important to do Prolon then 3 times and do the L-protein in between. So we have 2 human trials that are just focused on cellular rejuvenation and muscle protection that we have published. And it shows protection of muscle function with Prolon, because people are afraid when you fast. It's true. When you fast, you lose muscle. When you fast, the body goes to muscle, to bone, to fat. And even now, the Ozempics and the GLP-1s and whatever, they're showing the same thing.
Yeah.
But when you fast with food, so you're nourishing, the body is not going to the muscle, not going to the bone. They say, okay, we're fasting with food. There is food circulating. This is the magic of Prolon, right? This is why it's so successful. You're losing fat, but you're not losing muscle. And obviously the L-protein that we talked about, 25 grams of protein, 21 mils and vitamins, and extra virgin olive oil, it's a mini longevity formulation, all blend-based, clean. And I can talk a lot. I'm very passionate about the protein, the L-protein, because when we went to produce it, every producer added 2 or 3 artificial things in it, silica and other stuff. And I was like, why you're adding ingredients that every protein supplier in the US adds few things, because protein powders they clog their machines. Yeah. Don't worry, if you stay below 2% of the label, you don't have to declare them.
Yeah.
And I discovered that most, I don't want to say 100% because I don't know, but most of all the suppliers that we went to produce the proteins, they add silica and other ingredients. And we delayed our production of the L-protein by 16 months to make sure that we have a fully clean L-protein, that it doesn't have any of those changes.
So does that come in like a bag, or how do you? Okay.
Yeah, it's 1 serving per the same fasting shake that you tried, but this is a protein shake. It's not for mimicking fasting. It's a
but this is an advancement of the protein shake that I did, right? That was just a.
No, you tried the fasting shake, which is this is a protein shake. It's not a fasting shake.
Yeah, so I need to get that. I need to get back in touch with your staff and try that, because I've been reading so many articles, and I want everybody that's viewing today, listening today, to know that protein with a capital P is one of the most important nutritional advancements in the world today, and you don't have to lose protein as you get older, and you don't have to take 5 different types of animal proteins per day in order to get the protein. This is, I think, the most important thing, that animal protein can also make you age, correct? If
100%. That can. It's the fastest way to accelerate aging through food is through animal source of protein.
animal
They
protein,
spike IGF.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, if you are going to eat animal protein, make sure that it's grass fed or wild caught or
It's
organic, free.
still, this is for the detoxing. This is for the toxin part. Even if they're grass fed, even if they're clean, the animal source of protein, the sequence of amino acids that's coming from animal source spikes
Mm-hmm.
IGF. This is why it spikes growth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why if you want to grow muscle, you eat a steak, you go on steaks and chicken,
Mm-hmm.
but and this is the biggest, again, you heard me a few times today talking about the business is leading nutrition rather than ethical science. You
Right.
grow your muscle, but you're growing everything else, right? You see visually the muscle because it's a flexible organ, but
Right.
everything else is also getting older. Is you're pushing biologically your aging process. So it's very important that instead of living on animal sources of protein, you go more towards fish, because at least balanced with omegas, and even better, you go to plant-based. The plant
Yeah.
sources of protein, they don't spike IGF. IGF is a growth hormone in the body. So
Yeah.
you're basically not paying the price of aging when you eat those proteins.
Yeah. I just had last week Ocean Robbins. You know him? He
Heard of them?
Yeah, so he's the food revolution diet. So they just produced that book. So he's totally about plant protein. I mean, he's at one extreme. I don't think everyone can immediately jump from their diet that today. They have to be weaned into trying things that really taste good first. That's why I applaud what you've done, because I know there's a lot of science, but also a lot of extra cost that as you've explained today. So now, how do you combine the L Nutra part with the Prolon? How do those two companies integrate?
Well, Alnutra is the holding, is longevity through nutrition.
Okay,
Prolon is for rejuvenation and longevity of healthy people.
okay,
We have a division that is a medical division called Alnutra Health under Alnutra. So Alnutra is the mother,
okay.
Prolon is the consumer arm. There's an Alnutra Health. And a lot of people listening to us today, if you have a health condition, diabetes, prediabetes, cholesterol, blood pressure, go to L Nutra Health, L-Nutra Health.
Good. I'm glad you're.
And you see the programs. These are medically supervised. So we offer you the products, we offer you the dietitian supervision and doctor supervision, all trio together for literally just $250 a month to
Oh my!
help you with disease remission from diabetes or prediabetes.
That includes product
That includes the products.
with the product. That's a steal.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's if you want to see a doctor and or a dietitian and or eat food, it would cost you more. These are all trio combined, doctor supervision plus the dietitian plus the food for just $250 a month will help you with reversing your metabolic health condition and for many people getting all the way to remission, meaning off medication.
So Dr. Bredesen was saying yesterday that he's never been more excited by what's the progress that's being made in his area, of course, is Alzheimer's, which is one of your points on your multi-pronged influences of the protocol, how the protocol can improve. So he said that if people were just to eat right and take the test to know what their scores are, so they know what they're dealing with, and then get on a program, and he offers some opportunities there as well, but not nutritional ones. His are supplements. So it would seem to me that you and Dr. Bredesen with his company would be amazingly
We Interesting you mentioned it. We supply all his clinics the food, by the way.
Oh,
So we,
I know that.
yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
we have another company under L Nutra. It's called Nutrition for Longevity, and for L Nutrition for Longevity.
Okay.
We supply the KetoFlex diet, the Alzheimer's KetoFlex diet, to his clinics, to Apollo Health clinics for Dr. Brennan. He's a great friend, and we're partners. It's very difficult, as you know, for patients to follow people disrespect nutrition. Like, oh, I'll put my diet, I'll do this, I'll do that. No, it's very precise ingredients. And we have we call precision nutrition, KetoFlex food. For those who want to get it, it's nutritionforlongevity.com or n4lhealth.com. And you can get the food that all the
I'm so
patients.
happy I brought that up. He never mentioned that yesterday. And what about this new company he was telling me about called Gray Matters out of Harvard, out of Boston? He has me speaking with Deb Geisler, I think is her, next week. Are you familiar with this? They have 90 centers, and they were just approved by Medicare for some of their Alzheimer's protocols. Not on all of them, but Medicare will cover probably more of the allopathic ones, but at any rate, at least they're moving in that direction. So they would be another really big outlet, I would think, for you to approach. And I'll be meeting her next week by phone. So if you want, I'll introduce.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, the more we can get the word out, and I'm, always really excited about networking people when they can find ways to synergistically help others.
That's fantastic.
To get healthier. That's our goal in life, is to influence the outcome with just good, kind deeds, right?
Yes.
So what's your exit strategy? Where do you see yourself with the companies within the next, let's say, 1 or 2 years?
We're not exiting. I think we're at least right now, not right now. We really want to keep the mission of the company in the hands of the true scientists who developed it. Walter Longo, the founder, myself, and the team. As there's no company that's led by so many MD PhDs that you will ever find.
I know.
To the team. I think we have a big mission for humanity. We want to help people live a healthy, long life. We are making strides into longevity through nutrition. We are reversing or helping people reverse their diabetes. We're doing a lot of trials on cancer now, on Alzheimer's, on autoimmune diseases. So we're very excited about that prospect. We might go public. We might go IPO in the next 2 years, but that's not an exit for us. It's just to bring more cash and take this company to the world so that everyone can invest and can support the mission while keeping the true mission within the same leadership.
Well, I do want to point out that not to denigrate PhDs, but mostly, like doctors, cannot usually run businesses or build businesses.
Yeah.
Their skill set is definitely more narrow, scientific based, and not dealing with all the issues of people management and financial capital raising and so. So I have to really point out to everyone the incredible influence that you have had by being a PhD and a medical doctor and a businessman who has built this company to the level that it's at and where it's going to continue to grow. So what do you owe that to as far as your own skill set?
I think a little bit the family, my family, although I started medicine, my family was in business and my father used to involve me into it since I always had that flair for growing things, for creating and growing. He was an entrepreneur and he is still an entrepreneur. I did spend a few years at the biotech industry, especially at Lilly, which is now the biggest biotech in the world. And I learned a lot there about how to discover products, how to launch, how to sell, how to market. So I kind of built myself to have the science and the medicine merge with the business aspects together. And at the end of the day, it's the effort, it's the heart, and it's the focus. If you have those 3 ingredients, you will resolve a lot of matters in front of you, a lot of issues.
But it takes, I mean, you've made it seem so simple, but it really is so much more complicated. Being an entrepreneur myself and having run real estate development companies, so I can, certainly offer my input that it's the biggest challenge, I think, well, other than raising capital, is managing people. And how many employees do you have in the all these companies now that you're heading up?
If you add the full-timers plus the contractors plus the supply plus probably around 140, 150.
So there's 140 or 50 times sleepless nights because you're trying to, make sure that all these people are feeling like they are so valued, and everyone has their own individual needs. And well, I mean, I don't need to say it to you, but I just want to be sure people understand that your job does not start at scientifically researching these beautiful products. You have all these other responsibilities. So kudos to you, Dr. Antoun, for being one of the exceptions. So, all right. Well, before we go, because we have run out of time, I did want to ask you one big question. In your life, and this is kind of like more personal, but if that's okay, in your life, when you faced obstacles, what is it that has helped you to overcome the the fear and the anxiety and the challenge of solving problems and overcoming obstacles? What would you say you would owe that to?
Probably a lot of factors. Some of them they're innate, some of them you grow or you learn. And I think I always say this is obstacles are between people. At the end of the day, everything in life comes, whether it's love, whether it's money, whether it's conflict, anything comes from people. And in people, any conflict could be resolved between people who like each other and trust each other. Right? This is why say family is important. If you have an issue with your sister, you'll resolve it very fast because you love her. There's enough credibility. There's enough love. The
Mm-hmm.
conflicts arise when people they don't trust enough or they don't like enough, and then it's difficult to resolve. And
Mm-hmm.
there's part of that is the demeanor, is the reaction is instead of deflating, instead of helping, going from positioning to the true interests of people, dismantling the problem and increasing the pie, increasing the benefits for both, and then reslicing that pie so that everyone is happy on both sides
Mm-hmm.
in a positive, likable, trustable way. I think this probably has been my key to success in conflict resolution.
Well, you are very unique, and I've already pointed that out. But there is also a gentleness and a kindness about you that I noticed right away, and you don't always see that in people who are running big companies because they tend to let the stress get to them. So somehow or other, you've been able to uh, take stress and make it your ally instead of your enemy. So I really wanted to point that out if people haven't noticed themselves just listening to you today. Well, Dr. Antoun, you have been amazing, and we really appreciate you coming on the podcast. And I know we're probably going to have a round two. We usually wait about a year because we want to see what other developments are occurring. But it sounds like in your case, they're going on rapid speed. So we will be coming back to you. And I do want to get that longevity and try that protein product. So should I be contacting Natalia or?
We'll send you some, no worries.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And the book too. I wanted to let everybody know to get that longevity diet book
Yeah.
on Amazon, or they can order it off your website too, right?
No, it's on Amazon.
Only on Amazon. Okay. This would be a primer for everyone to start and basically be a companion to the Prolon program. So, well, we wish you absolute good luck, and I'll see you in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the Association for Anti-Aging Medicine, A4M.
Correct. And just in case everybody didn't hear that, the American Academy of Anti-Aging, if you want to go, they do let individuals who are non-medical, but people like, mostly the practitioners and the doctors and the exhibitors who are oftentimes the combination of all of those. So you will have a booth again, and look forward to seeing you there. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.